question of how I got started, I mean, it's all just brutalist technology. Like I've always said it's like trash engineering. You're just trying all kinds of different materials to try to make this stuff work. You're trying to mold, form, and function together. Yeah, I'm just trying to make playable art.
How do you combine creativity, entrepreneurship, and custom vinyl records? We are here in Indianapolis, Indiana at the historic Stutz Building. This is where they used to manufacture cars just like this. It's incredible. But there are artists here working now, and we're going to get to meet one of them, who's putting things inside records that you are not going to imagine. Let's get started.
I gotta get right!
Hi, I'm Chris Banta. I'm the owner-operator of Romanus Records and Romanus Custom Vinyl Manufacturing. I was a little kid, I really liked monster trucks and basketball. And I thought people who played instruments were dorks. Whenever they would come to school, remember in 5th grade, they're like, oh, you want to try trumpet out? I'm like, get that away from me. I don't want to become some band kid. When I got into middle school, my stepdad, he played guitar and it'd always kind of be around, and I'd fart around with it, and he's like, hey, do you want to maybe learn? I'm like, no. But he never pushed anything on me. There was some girl across the street in the cul-de-sac. It's like, I like your guitar playing. And then I told my dad, I'm like, hey, I want to get a guitar. I've always been programmed, from maybe it's like a sports kind of background a little bit, where it's just like, well, if you're going to do it, you might as well just like really try to do it. And I think that kind of competitive drive, I think, informed a lot of my creativity. I didn't have like a real band in high school or anything. Like we would play stuff for, school events and things like that. And in college, I made like my first real band, air quotes, and it taught me a lot about what not to do, which is good. It helped start the suck process faster. That's how almost every good endeavor works in life. And like, it's like the trimming of the fat, and the sharpening and all that stuff. Like nothing happens unless you start. You don't need to have like this 100-step business plan to start making your art and working towards whatever it is you want to be. And what you think it's going to be is probably not going to be it. You're going to pivot if you're smart. So we were on a label at the time called Phono-Flow Records. I wanted to make a liquid-filled record. There was only 2 that ever existed at that point. And I started working on it, and I figured out how to make it, air quotes, work, but it wasn't good. They wouldn't last now, I know that. And I was having problems. I was like, this is stupid. There's this whole other art space that's not being explored in making these types of crazy records. So we made these glow-in-the-dark Dino Bone records. They were $60. We sold them out in 2 minutes, which for us was like a huge deal. Sold like 60 of them. So we were on the road. So for a band to make almost $4 grand in like 30 seconds meant a lot to us. So then I knew I needed to make the label so people would know I made it. And then I knew the move was to pivot into allowing other bands and labels to order, having me make that crazy stuff. The goal with all of this is like, what can I do as a full-time job in music? I knew though there was a better chance that the record label thing is probably gonna be a better chance that could be my full-time job. So at that time I was buying and fixing, selling cars. It's like family business, like buying wrecked cars from auction. And then I was also doing Jimmy John's bicycle delivery. I worked at a bike shop. I was just doing all kinds of wacky stuff so that I could tour.
All right, well, hey, so now that all the stuff that was in the background is now in the foreground. So yeah, tell us, I want to be able to see some, obviously we all want to see some of the examples of what you've done.
Sure.
Yeah, to kind of show us around.
Yeah, I grabbed some cool things from kind of what we do. So these are some just like releases that I do like label side. So,
okay.
So this is for Doom Gong, Mega Gong. Stuff like Moon Goons, they're super proggy, super weird. They're here in Indiana, which is awesome. These are wonderful Canadian people. This is from a band called Rapallo.
That's beautiful.
This is like, I'm dead serious, this is like yacht rock, and it's awesome, and it's sold out so fast. And then this is, I say this with all the respect in the world for other bands in indie. This is Pat and the Pissers. They're the best band in indie right now, in my estimation.
Is that paint? Is that like what kind
No,
of paint?
so these are pressed by a record plant. Okay, so this is a splatter record. So
Okay.
they take this, essentially looks like a hockey puck of wax, and it gets put between two pieces of metal and gets smushed out into the mold that has the grooves on it. They cut it, and then this is what you get. So this has like the puck is like a clear base, and then there's like these gold and black and white, little pellets that are in there, and that's how you get these splatter records. I collected vinyl. I wanted just to have the coolest vinyl I could have for my band. And that's how I started experimenting on making these custom, records, filled with liquid and sand and nerds and bugs and whatever. I just wanted to have the cool stuff I could have for my band.
So these look completely different than obviously what we're dealing with
So
here.
these are like, these handmade, one at a time custom records that we've,
Right.
kind of famous for. So like, stuff like this. This is like this Miller High Life infused record that we did for Miller High Life. I think I may have mentioned earlier. I mean, it was on the Today Show. Like, some of that legacy media still like, melts people's minds. This was really cool. This is the Alice in Chains Jar of Flies record.
Which is so crazy.
And there's real dead flies in here. I don't want to ruin my spot here, so to speak, but like, there's a five pound bucket of dead flies. That was really hard to find, to be honest. You can find them in their maggot state a lot easier than like, this is called, I think, their pupal state or pupal state. Like these Alice in Chains records go for about $1,000 on eBay. All right, I'm not seeing that $1,000. Alice in Chains was not either. They were very cool. They sold these for like $100. All right, sold out in seconds, but there's that value on the secondary. This is for the Skyrim soundtrack for all you video game folks out there.
Oh, that's sweet, dude.
And this is like a glow-in-the-dark sand-filled. This is kind of like one of our bread and butter things is these sand-filled records. But yeah, like things like the Sharknado record, like It's Crazy Thick, or the guitar pedal record was like our biggest tech piece.
Yeah, no joke.
So let's show you how these work. We did this for the Wonka soundtrack, the Chalamet one, and it's like it's got real nerds in it. Okay, it's like, oh, that's like fake. It's like, no,
it's real.
It would be more difficult for me to create a synthetic piece of candy. So it's like, yeah, we make these thick records and they're filled with real nerds. This is the Megadeth record we're finishing up right now. We were talking about,
Which is so sick. I love the colors.
that's filled with this ash.
That's awesome.
From Dave Mustaine's guitar. Obviously, he didn't burn enough guitars to do every record, but like there's bits of that ash in every record. And then like stuff like this, like the Sonic the Hedgehog record, getting these rings in here. It's pretty rad. Love me some Sonic. There's only 3, I think, companies that do what we're doing that are full time with it on the planet. So like it's a very small little world, and part of it is like, it's so labor intensive. It's like, and there's no how-to on the internet. You can't just go look it up on the internet or anything. The question of how I got started, I mean, it's all just brutalist technology. Like I've always said it's like trash engineering. You're just trying all kinds of different materials to try to make this stuff work. You're trying to mold form and function together. And you're like, well, this thing, this works, but this looks like crap, or, it damages the records and it plays and sounds terrible. Or this other thing looks amazing, but I know it's got all these weak points and it's gonna fail. And that's the real art of it. The art, I always tell people, is making one is art. Making hundreds and thousands of them is a job. I do have like a pretty small team. They're all signed to NDAs on like how stuff is made and the secret sauce and the process and stuff, and it's still constantly evolving. Like we'll get a question a lot like, oh, does it like throw off the weight, of a record or whatever, like because there's liquid in it? And no, centrifugal force, because of the spindle, holds that
A little bit of physics involved.
in place. Yes, but records are way more durable than people would ever, imagine. Plays just fine.
I mean, honestly, like, I'm sure if you're watching this, that is the most amazing part of this, in my opinion, is like, my first thought would be like, the physics won't work. Like, it's gonna fluctuate, or like, it's gonna expand or whatever, but like, it works perfect.
It just sits there.
That's awesome.
being creative isn't just something you're like just born with. Like, it's like a skill. It's something you have to develop. It's not this, he's really talented, she's really creative. It's like, you have to choose to be. You can be creative, I think, in almost any field, and there's always, kind of like this, there's probably a niche that you may not be thinking about. And if you're already going to school for the arts and you're not trying to become entrepreneurial with it, like, I don't know what you're doing. Especially, I mean, if you're writing music, you're literally a salesman. Primary motivation doesn't have to be to make money, but you are trying to sell a story. You're trying to sell a mood. You're trying to sell whatever it is you want to tell the world.